Race cars in, they address themselves to the start line. Kyle Busch has elected the outside. He is the control car. So Logano cannot beat him to the start line on the initial start of the race. And we're off in Kentucky.
Kevin Harvick with a big moment going into turn 3. That's that flat section of this racetrack that makes Kentucky Speedway so unique compared to other mile-and-a-half tracks. Already 3 wide as we're starting lap 2. With that lack of grip and that inside lane hasn't scared off Joey Logano. He's still battling down there in that very bottom lane, trying to get by Eric Almirola. Now his teammate Brad Keselowski coming to the outside.
Now you see the traction compound, there it is down in the corners, and there they have added a strip of it in the middle of 1 and 2 and in the middle of 3 and 4 to aid the low groove.
Well, so far I'd say it's helped, Mike. We'll have to wait and see what happens to that traction compound throughout this race. Kevin Harvick looks like he started off this race very loose. Not a lot of grip in the rear. As Matt DiBenedetto is going to go to the inside, possibly take that position away. And yes, he does. You can see even Kevin Harvick in the main area of that traction compound, Michael. We've seen all the grip so far this weekend's racing. Even Kevin Harvick's in that groove still didn't have enough grip to hold off to Benedetto.
You've got to imagine Rodney Childers is on the radio telling Kevin it'll come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Be patient, be patient. And you know what? The way Kevin Harvick's season has gone, there's a very good chance it will come back to him. And here's another guy that's got to be happy to show up at Kentucky. 3 wins under his belt. Brad Keselowski loves this racetrack. And right now he's got to be loving his race car. He's right on top of these 2 in front of him.
Keselowski started 6th. Jimmy Johnson in 15th. And here's Ryan Blaney testing out that bottom groove.
Going to get that right front fender right to the left rear quarter panel. Jimmy Johnson trying to pull him back. Just not quite there yet. You can hear how much out of the throttle Ryan Blaney is as he's outside of that traction compound. That's going to open up the door for Tyler Reddick to come to the inside of Blaney.
See how Reddick fares down on the bottom of the racetrack. As at 7th place, Chase Elliott had a look at Kevin Harvick. And nothing there.
Larry McReynolds talked about it in our pre-race about, you know, how few of notes you have from day races here. Not to mention, as we're trying to possibly going to see a lead change here. Eric Almirola going after our leader Kyle Busch. But you know, you have the traction compound, the grip of this big spoiler and the downforce in these cars, 550 horsepower, day race, so many variables right now that nobody has a clue what this race is going to start like or how it's going to end and progress throughout the race.
You saw Joey Logano send it in there, but didn't have the grip to run all the way through the corner 2 abreast with his teammate Brad Keselowski.
Well, Brad Keselowski's running that very bottom groove. He likes the way his car's handling right on the yellow line. That's going to open up the door possibly for an outside move if Logano can get there, at least down to 1 and 2.
Almirola single file behind Kyle Busch, who will lead the first 9 laps of this race. That is significant because 9 is the number of laps that Kyle has led on all the mile-and-a-half tracks so far this year. Just 9 laps, and 9 today.
You can see this. Eric Almirola, I didn't think he was going to be able to hold that bottom groove, but he certainly did. He's going to make the pass on Kyle Busch. I thought that 10 car looked really good coming off of turn 4 down the front straightaway as he closed up on Kyle Busch. I did not think he could hold it, but he did. Nice move. Eric Almirola taking the lead.
50 laps complete in Kentucky. That's Ryan Blaney driving through the corners one-handed, and we'll show you why. Here's what happened just a couple of laps ago. Car jumped out of 4th gear. Blaney grabbed a gear, got going, and then radioed in.
Just broke some. Drive shaft or something. Somebody's broke off the base here. Gonna need to get me a bungee cord or something. Copy that.
Well, you could hear Ryan Blaney as he rolled out of the throttle in turns 1 and 2 and went to go back to the throttle. That's when it jumped out of 4th gear. Pretty fortunate actually for this 12 team that it didn't happen somewhere else, because it could have turned a lot more RPM than it did. Didn't sound like it over revved the engine that much, so that might save the engine, but they're going to have to figure this out, Mike. That's not going to go away anytime soon.
So here's a couple of champions battling for 11th place. Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch. Now earlier we talked about travel on the splitter and that gap there, and Kyle Busch and what they might do to improve that car. Larry?
Yeah, Mike, one report we did get from Kyle Busch, once the air pressures came up when they made this last pit stop, the car was getting a little bit better. But Jeff Gordon was talking about the right side of that front splitter being up off the racetrack. Well, one thing they can do, you have these ride limiters right there. You can add one, but what I think they would want to do if they do want to make this adjustment is actually pull one of those shims out. That just lets the car travel a little bit more on the right front, and we'll get that splitter down on the racetrack.
And Larry, you know, based on the air pressures coming up, that raises the car up, so you wouldn't think that would actually make the car better, because as the air pressures come up, I just wonder if when the air pressures come up, the grip level in the tire maybe goes up a little bit to where it's optimal and he likes it, or the balance changes for him over that long run.
Well, what's got to come up for Kyle Busch are playoff points. Look at the comparison last year to this for he and his teammate Martin Truex, who pretty much led the league in playoff points last year. You get playoff points by winning races and by winning stages.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, when you think about the dominance of this 18 team, Kyle Busch, our defending champion, what he accomplished, not just last year, but even the year before, hard to believe he's sitting here at this stage of the season 2020 with 0 playoff points. And we've seen where that changes your whole playoffs. I mean, to get from one round to the next, that's what allowed, I think, Kyle Busch to even get to be in that Final Four at Homestead last year, to have a chance at the championship.
So who got all those playoff points in the first half of this season that Kyle Busch didn't? One fellow who got a whole lot of them, his teammate Denny Hamlin. Jamie?
He has his hands full today, Mike. He started up there in 12th. He's back in 27th right now. Remember the last lap last week? They blew a right front, a huge hit into the wall. Right now he says he has chatter, and he told his team, I know I've got to go, but he's got his hands full, and he's giving it all he has back there.
Hamlin ran Bubba Wallace for 26. Now they're about 26 seconds behind the leader, Eric Almirola, who is running laps in the 30-second range.
And Mike, going back to Denny Hamlin, this is that time when as a team, you're Joe Gibbs Racing, Kyle Busch starting up front on the pole position. You go, you know what, this weekend our teammate's been so good. Denny Hamlin, we're going to go with a setup similar to his. And then all of a sudden, Denny Hamlin has a similar issue. So you wonder if how close those setups are on those two cars.
And there's a look at Almirola, about 4 seconds back of them on the track, but the race leader 1 3/4 seconds ahead of Chase Elliott. Now, Ryan Blaney, after getting his car back in 4th gear and getting everything back together, went on to pass Kevin Harvick, and Blaney is now in 5th place. Apparently no ill effects of that car jumping out of gear. And using a bungee cord, Larry, to hold that shifter in 4th. Boy, that's an old short track trick.
Well, it is, Mike, and looking at the data, it turned about 9,300 RPM, but only for about 2 seconds. I know things have changed since my days as a crew chief, but that was part of our race morning checklist, is we had a bungee cord that was already in the car and just hooked it into the side of the seat. That way the driver could just reach down there and put it around the gear shift should he have a problem like what Ryan Blaney just had.
Well, I thought it was interesting, Larry, as we watched Ryan Blaney go through 1 and 2, pretty much one hand, and held that shifter in 4th gear all the way through 1 and 2. His car's driving really good. Here he goes again through turns 1 and 2. I mean, barely even getting out of the throttle. I can tell you the vibration that goes through your hand and through your body when you're holding onto that shifter is pretty intense. But down here in 3 and 4, he's not even holding it in 4th gear, so he feels very confident that whatever's going on, it's only in 1 and 2.
.68 laps complete. That's Michael McDowell in the yellow car, just ahead of Eric Almirola. McDowell 27th. Last car on the lead lap. Almirola maintaining 2.3 seconds on Chase Elliott, the first Chevy. Martin Truex in 10th. 9.5 back is the first Toyota. Fords occupy most of the top 10.
You can see how good Eric Almirola's car is working. Just pulls right up to the rear bumper of the 34 of Michael McDowell. Gets underneath them, goes down in the next corner, completes the pass. That car is on rails right now.
And I would say Ryan Blaney's problems are solved. He just ran the fastest lap of this race, 180.4 miles per hour.
Be curious to see if maybe that, you know, this car was just for Ryan Blaney, just maybe it wasn't all the way engaged in 4th gear after the restart. Is that going to be something that continues? Is he going to have to drive one-handed all day long? Or I think later in the race, when they get 3 and 4 wide on those restarts, he's going to have or want to have both hands on the steering wheel. Riding on board here with Chase Elliott. Running in 2nd place, 8 laps to go on this stage. To Benedetto. Oh, whoa. A moment for John Hunter Nemechek gets really loose. He has to work his way up the racetrack. That allows Joey Logano to go to the inside of Matt Benedetto. I was just getting ready to brag on him on what a great run he's having. And here comes Ryan Blaney into the picture.
Yeah, they all had to pedal it when Nemechek had his moment. Jamie?
And I was going there as well, Jeff. Matt Benedetto doing a great job. He started 10th, running 4th right now, about to give that up to Ryan Blaney. But Matt, this is his worst track here, averages 31st. Never even a top 10, but he's never been with the Wood brothers either. Right now he says his car is pretty good. I think he's the only driver happy with his car.
Well, I could tell you who loves his race car. If Matt Benedetto likes his race car, I know who loves his. Other than that transmission, Ryan Blaney has a rocket ship right now. But you can see that little darker area that Ryan Blaney just ran on that bottom lane. We see it also down here in 3 and 4 where they put the right sides down there, Mike. That is not traction compound. That's actually an area where the racetrack, I believe, has done some kind of a patchwork. So that's a part of the pavement, maybe a newer layer of pavement on the racetrack in that lower groove.
A little bit of that at each end of the speedway. Ryan Newman now about to go a lap down here, perhaps. He is 26th. Last car in the lead lap. Next car ahead of him is Denny Hamlin for Eric Almirola.
We've seen this before at this racetrack, Mike, where Kentucky Speedway is one of those tracks where you can hit it and be so good, and you can miss it a long way and be very far off. And that's what we're seeing for a lot of these cars back there, 23rd, 24th on back. Hey, they went to Advance Auto Parts and picked him up a bungee cord.
Quite possibly.
This is where Ryan Newman becomes a kidney stone, harder to pass.
Well, he drifted up the racetrack there in 3 and 4. Listen, I don't know if there's a race car or driver out there that is tough to pass for Eric Almirola right now. That car is just so good.
And Newman gave him plenty of room. Fought with him for a lap, and then moved aside. Only 3 to go in the stage. Now look at the gap between Almirola and the next car ahead, because that may be why Newman was so willing to lay over. He could end this stage as the free pass car. That's extremely likely here with just 2 to go in the stage.
Well, besides the fact he couldn't hold back Almirola and the fact that there was a gap, I agree, Mike. Good chance he will be that free pass car.
Boy, 2 of the best ever at Kentucky here, Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, and they're battling, but it's for 13th place.
The other thing these 2 drivers share is watching their teammates up ahead of them having a little bit better day.
Like Martin Truex, who started out back due to an inspection failure and is now in the top 10.
Well, Ryan Newman's going to come back to try to get back one of those laps.
Well, he's got to, because that car, if that car just ahead is only 1 down, and it's not. It's more than a lap down. That's Garrett Smithley.
It looked like
3 laps back.
Yeah, I think Eric Almirola got held up in traffic a little bit.
As long as he doesn't get to Hamlin, Newman is okay. And he didn't. The stage is over, and Eric Almirola has his 2nd stage win of the season. Pace cars in. Here comes the field to the Geico restart zone.
Nine's coming to you. Protect the high side here.
It's TJ
One back. All good.
Joey Logano's spotter.
Yeah, and I'll give Joey a lot of credit. Not from a lack of effort. He's putting it down there on the bottom underneath in that vulnerable position, taking the air off the outside of that car inside of Eric Almirola. Now he's faded back to 2nd as he slid up in front of Chase Elliott. But Matt DiBenedetto, I'll tell you what, those Fords are strong today. 1, 2, 3 right now. Then Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, and here comes Ryan Blaney, one-handed bandit.
Harvick down the inside, 12th. 11th now.
See if they've worked out that loose condition on Kevin Harvick. Early stages of a run, he's very, very loose, especially in traffic.
It came to him, Jeff. He was much better later in that long run, but by then he'd given up a number of positions.
And right now he's stuck in that inside lane as Jimmy Johnson, then Kurt Busch, and those Chevrolets come to the outside. Yeah, this is not a position we've seen Kevin Harvick in. Usually, you know, when he's in the back, they do some kind of pit strategy, 2 tires, something to get him into clean air. Right now, he's just mired in a bunch of dirty air.
Cole Custer charging after his teammate. Custer has picked up 1 spot from the restart.
And one of the things that Rodney Childers and this Ford team have done so well for Kevin Harvick is to give him a car that's trimmed out. The back of that car and that spoiler is out of the air. It's real low on the straightaways and in the corners. And the way they've gotten away with that is Cole Custer's teammate goes to the inside, possibly going to take that position for 13th. But that is something that works really good, Mike, in clean air. If you can get the mechanical balance worked out, and they have done a great job with that in that 14. But right now, they do not have the clean air to take advantage of that trimmed out race car.
On the left, the battle for fourth. Elliott, Blaney, and Bowman. On the right, the fight for 13th. Harvick, Custer, and Reddick.
You can see that opened up the door as Colt Custer tries to get to the inside of his teammate Kevin Harvick. Here comes Tyler Reddick on the outside. Let's see if Denny Hamlin's been able to make some significant adjustments. He dives into turn 3. Car looked pretty good right there.
Reddick in that gold number 8 restarted 21st. He's up for 14th now. 7 spots gained and very few laps there.
These two guys, Ryan Blaney in the 12 that just took the lead from Eric Almirola, they hope this streak does not continue today.
Thanks, Larry. Ryan Blaney to the front, becoming only the 3rd different driver to lead this race. And we're going to make that today's Tide Clean Pass.
You can see Eric Almirola comes up on John Hunter Nemechek, loses some momentum, allows Ryan Blaney to get to the outside. But Ryan, I love this move. He's going to go 3 wide almost there for a second off of turn 4 to take the lead. It was a pretty clean pass. See, Eric Almirola is down outside of that traction compound, has no grip to be able to maintain the speed that Ryan Blaney is able to maintain. Also wonder, Mike, we saw the 10 car of Almirola really lose a lot of speed over the last couple laps to Ryan Blaney. I wonder if he's wore that left front tire out. We're hearing more and more about how these left side tires are starting to show some cords, maybe even feel some vibrations. Still driving with one hand.
At least through one end of the speedway. Yep.
I like watching that water bottle as he goes through the corner and all the G-load gets pushed to the right side and how that water starts to wash up into the top of that water bottle.
I think now he's just reaching over there out of habit, Jeff. Ryan Blaney had only led 1 lap here in his Cup career prior to today.
Look at it. Yeah, he's having it. I'm telling you, that's going to really have an effect on his hand over this race. The vibration coming up through that shifter and through the drive line, it's got to be very intense and severe. And I don't think he's even taken a drink of that bottle of water because he's had his hands full holding that shifter.
Jamie?
Ryan Blaney extremely focused right now. Said he needs to be freed up just a little bit on exit. That's the only place where he feels they can gain a little bit more. They're looking to pit about lap 149, Mike.
So that would be with 11 laps to go in stage 2.
And Mike and Jeff, that's one of the characteristics of this traction compound. And we talked about that before the green flag. It just seems like the cars get tighter and tighter. The front tires don't want to grip as good as the rear tires.
Yeah, that traction compound, while it has a lot of grip, it also really grinds those tires. So if your balance is a little bit tight, you're just going to wear those tires down even more. Look at Eric Almirola going to lose another position here to a Penske car. Joey Logano in that Pennzoil 4 going to the inside, taking 2nd place. I really think the blistering pace that the 10 car, as we see Tyler Reddick hitting pit road, one of the first cars to hit pit road, I really think that he's wore those front tires out.
So Reddick becomes the first of the lead lap drivers to pit at lap 144. He had a big vibration, so they called him in early, anticipating they were going to have to stop under green anyway.
And it's very common when you start to wear those tires down to the cords that one of those cords will pop and you'll actually get a vibration because you get down to the cords and wear through the rubber in that tread.
And I think what we just saw there will be the norm. You go ahead and change 4 tires because you don't want to run the risk of just doing 2 rights and wear the left front out before this stage is over.
Reddick was 12th when he came to pit road. There's Bubba Wallace going a 2nd lap down to Blaney.
I really don't think that was bad timing for Tyler Reddick. It's
Nope.
you know, just short pitting. He just needs to make sure no caution comes out. He'll be in good shape here.
Fifth place, Alex Bowman. Truex was closing, but he is headed for pit lane. First of the Toyotas to pit. Larry, with new tires not being much of a premium as far as lap times are concerned, I think everybody here is just going to run as far as they possibly can.
Well, I do, Mike, because again, and I saw it in last year's race, you short pit and yeah, you've got 4 fresh tires, but if that caution comes out, you are absolutely burned. Here comes Chase Elliott in the 9 car. What I would tell these crew chiefs, you can't hide your lion eyes telling me you can make it to the end.
Okay. Eight to go in stage 2. Keselowski and Jones, the drivers who have not stopped.
That's the 10 of Eric Almirola. The way that camber is done in that tire, you can see how it's really eating the outside edge. If that's the if that's the left front, yeah, that would be the edge of the tire that would put the most grip in that tire. So once you wear through it down to the cords, you just lose all of that left front grip.
Jones is in, surrendering 2nd place.
And Mike, that's one of those things that you just can't fix. Not especially under a green flag stop or anytime quick under caution, is to fix the camber that you have in those front tires. You can maybe raise or lower the car up a little bit to help as the 2 of Brad Keselowski, our leader, hits pit road, but you really can't affect that camber change. All you can do is maybe air pressure.
Or stop more often.
Or that.
And that's not productive, right? Have not seen a lot of chassis adjustments on these cars today. Oh, Matt Kenseth in trouble, and that's
it looks like the
caution is out.
It looks like the left front tire is down, or left rear maybe.
Caution comes out with 6 laps to go in the stage.
You can see that car's gone around because you can see the roof flap had engaged. Oh, the 2 car. Was he on pit road when that happened?
Well, we're hearing Keselowski is being scored the leader. And we'll check that as Matt Kenseth has brought the caution out with 6 laps to go.
That's what I call
in stage 2.
The perfect storm, Mike, is when you're on pit road, changing your tires as the caution comes out. Let's see what happens. You can see Matt Kenseth down on the apron, knows he has an issue, tries to keep the car from going up on the racetrack. Luckily keeps it out of the wall.
Mike, the reason the 2 is scored as the leader, where he's pitting on pit road, he's pitting before the start finish line. It goes across pit road. He did not have to move that far to be able to be scored at the start finish line, even though he was on pit road.
Still there, quarter bumper. You are clear. Your help's one behind. Blaney starting to get pushed now. Half behind. Blaney's almost clear. Just got clear. He is clear. Going with him hard. He is clear. 1 behind. Momentum 3/4. Half up, half up, half up. Equalized at half. Split down a little, trying to back up to a push. Split down just a little bit. Split down by 1. 3/4, 3/4, half, split down. Inside, inside, inside. He's not chasing you. Green checkered, here's the line. Inside, you're good. Nice job.
And Brad Keselowski wins stage 2, his 4th stage win of the season.
Wasn't easy though. Ryan
No.
Blaney put up heck of a battle. That car is so good. Gonna have to deal with him a lot today. Or just go back to that perfect storm under green, Mike, where the 2-car Brad Keselowski stays out on pit road as the caution comes out to get this lead, and how that's going to change his race. And now he's controlling this restart in this race, but he's got 2 or 3 very fast race cars behind him. One moving into second, Martin Truex Jr., and the other one side by side is Ryan Blaney, and here comes Jimmy Johnson into the picture.
And they were 4 wide from about 12th on back all the way through the corner.
And don't forget Ryan Blaney doing this with one hand through turns 1 and 2. Jimmy Johnson's going to get there to the outside of Blaney. Kyle Busch in the 6th spot, leading this group.
+4
Yeah.
from where he started.
Yeah,
restarted.
Whatever he was feeling, it went away on this restart.
Jamie.
So good to see Jimmy Johnson running like this, Mike. I talked to him on Race Hub just before our broadcast began, and he told me last week, sitting out for the first time in his entire career and watching Justin Allgaier behind the wheel, he said, I wasn't going to watch the race, but I came around, I watched it, and I realized how much I love competition, how competitive I am. I can't wait to get back in my race car and be with my guys. Now he's up there running in 3rd.
Johnson had to sit out Indianapolis because he tested positive for COVID-19 after his wife experienced some allergy symptoms and tested positive. NASCAR's protocol, you must test negative for 2 consecutive days to be allowed to come back, and that happened. So Jimmy is racing here.
Oh, Kyle Busch into the wall, saves it. I say he was into the wall. He touched it with that right rear quarter panel and rear bumper.
May have put that quarter panel on the tire. Don't see a rub, but.
And does this have anything to do with what he had been feeling and describing over the radio to his crew chief? But that is definitely going to affect the side force of that race car.
Jeff, 95 out of 100 drivers don't make that save.
I mean, this guy's got a ton of talent, not just to win races and make the car go fast, but even when you're trying to save a car that's basically come completely around. Look at Kyle Busch, just goes wide. He just gets up out of the traction compound, Mike, in the back end, steps around, but that was weird. Something caused that car to jump up the racetrack like that and get sideways.
Here's what he said.
It's broke. The car is broken.
And here is how Truex took the lead from Brad Keselowski.
Well, Brad Keselowski tried every single line and different approach to these corners here at Kentucky to try to hold off the 19, and then he comes up on a lap car of Timmy Hill, and that opens up the door for Mark Truex Jr. to get the lead. And Mike, other than Almirola, who's back there in 10th place, not really able to recover right now, I don't know if anybody, well, I guess Blaney in 3rd also, has anything for this 19 after coming all the way from the rear of the field today.
There's Almirola, who has led 128 laps today, one of 6 leaders, and the one who will leave here having led the most laps. There are the lap leaders. Kyle Busch continues to soldier on. He's the last car on the lead lap, 20 seconds off the lead. You saw them carrying, I believe that was a shock in the right hand of the mechanic coming back from the truck to the pit lane.
Yeah, Mike, it seems to me, and Kyle Busch, one of the best at describing the details of what he's feeling inside the car. And I believe that what they feel like happened, maybe the shock didn't come off of the mount, but they believe maybe the shock itself internally may have broke.
Truex the leader, Hamlin 14th, Jones 17th, Christopher Bell, and there's Kyle in 24th currently. Sixth place, I think Chase Elliott got caught out on the lap car, and Matt DiBenedetto had a full head of steam and went by.
Well, he's had a full head of steam all day long. Matt DiBenedetto doing a great job here today. He's got a nice race car, doing a great job maneuvering through that lap traffic. Now, I really expected this traction compound in the heat of the day with this longer race. I expected it to move up the racetrack, Mike. I thought that the groove was going to get wider. So we see Eric Almirola going to the inside of his teammate Clint Boyer, not able to make that pass. And I expected this groove to move up and just have more 2 and 3 wide racing even through the corners, but it just hasn't happened. These cars are actually, with as much downforce as they have, able to keep it right down on the bottom, as you see Eric Almirola do and Cole Custer.
Now, we go to Bristol Wednesday night from the All-Star race. This is starting to look like a big Bristol. The groove is the top lane. The bottom lane is where, if you dare, you can try to pass. Wow, things changed quickly here in Kentucky. Brennan Poole cut down a tire, and a piece of his crush panel ended up on the track, and that was debris. Now watch the 3 of Austin Dillon, who is trying not to pit, but because of the transition ends up losing the car, spinning it around after the caution had waved. The caution is for debris, and now pit road is open under caution.
Mike, these cars handle really good turning left at speed. They don't turn very good to the right on these 1.5 mile tracks.
So William Byron was the leader. He had not pitted. Neither had Kevin Harvick, Michael McDowell, Christopher Bell, Austin Dillon, or Kyle Busch. They are the first 6 cars, and 6 out of 12 lead lap cars.
Yeah, that locked a lot of cars that were good cars that were up in the top, what, 12 or 15. Now some of those cars are a lap down.
So we're under caution here with 36 to go. And the pace car's in. Let's see if this is the final restart of the day.
5, ready. Green flag, green flag. No rough from behind, all good behind you. Still inside. Inside lane's pushing, no worries out back. 4 is in line with you now. 4 in line. 4 in line tight. No pressure from behind. 2 still inside.
See 3 wide, Kyle Busch to the inside.
1 back to the 4. 4's tight with you.
Christopher Bell.
Still inside.
Jimmy Johnson jumping from 9th to 6th here. And William Byron right with him in 7th. Truex trying to pull away.
Kevin Harvick goes to the inside of Brad Keselowski. Remember, these guys have a little bit fresher tires. See if they can't do something with them. Jimmy Johnson, William Byron. Oh, Keselowski gets a little bit loose.
And that vaults Johnson up to 5th place. Byron to 6th. Keselowski back to 7th. Challenging. Passing. Nice recovery.
You see William Byron goes up the racetrack. He's going to lose that spot to Keselowski. Maybe another one to Christopher Bell. Here comes Jimmy Johnson on Kevin Harvick. And they go around Kurt Busch. Johnson, this is going to be for 3rd position. He'll be the first car with the freshest Goodyear tires.
And he restarted 9th. Blaney's closing right back up on the leader, and 1.4 back comes the 7-time champion.
Ooh, Tyler Reddick gets to the outside of Denny Hamlin as Matt DiBenedetto, Chris Buescher go to the inside.
Jimmy Johnson 3rd, leading the Hendrick fleet of Camaros.
Yeah, I know one guy sitting at home enjoying his birthday. I'd like to see those Hendrick Chevys get a little bit further up there, maybe get a win, because it's Rick Hendrick's birthday today.
Did you ever win on his birthday weekend?
Well, we may or may not have looked it up. I was a little early. I gave it to him early.
Just a day or 2.
4 days.
That's okay. Better early than late.
It's many years ago. Mark Truex Jr. just put up his fastest lap of the race. Matter of fact, I think it might be the overall, close to it. Jimmy Johnson actually put up the fastest lap of the race, 29.84, just a lap ago.
Wait a minute. But they're in 9th place at Kyle Busch. Isn't that car that was broken not long ago? It's broken.
Well, it's broken and it's in
car in the wall,
position.
John Hunter Nemechek. And that will put us back under caution.
Heavy damage to the nose, to the right rear. John Hunter Nemechek was running 27th, 2 laps down at the time of that incident.
You know, I heard his teammate's crew chief, Drew Blickensderfer, on the radio this morning, and he was saying Front Row Motorsports has never finished the season with a car in the top 25 in owner points, and right now coming into this race, both their cars are in the top 25. And Nemechek having a bout with the wall.
Yeah, you could
puts
see.
us under caution. It'll be 19 to go in Kentucky. Who gets the jukebox? Let's find out.
Oh, Jimmy Johnson gets turned by Keselowski. You could see it coming, Mike. Caution is out. Jimmy Johnson moved down to try to block that big run coming from Brad Keselowski. Jimmy did a similar move on the last restart, was able to make up some spots. Keselowski tried it that time, and he and Jimmy Johnson come together.
Looks like Jimmy's got a tire rub as a result.
Pretty good chance of a right front. Well, these guys are wondering who was ahead the time of caution.
And our scoring has
Blaney.
Now, at the time of caution, it is not the moment of caution that determines the leader. So that you can't advance on the yellow, it's the last scoring loop that is crossed prior to the caution flag, where you see Jimmy going around off the bumper of Brad's number 2. Pace car's in. It'll be 13 laps to go. Blaney on the outside, Truex on the inside. Here we go to settle the Quaker State 400.
Oh, look at Kevin Harvick taking him 3 wide, goes to the inside.
Keselowski.
No way, is he going to steal one here?
Keselowski trying to go with him.
1 lane.
Oh, Truex gets loose.
Unbelievable, 3 wide for second place as Kevin Harvick takes the lead. 3 wide back in that next row back also. This would be unbelievable for Kevin Harvick. Never won here at this track.
Oh, 4 wide.
4
Look
wide.
at him fan out 4 wide in the middle. Ooh, that could get too close for comfort. McDowell got jostled around there.
I don't see any way we don't get another caution here, Mike. This is wild and crazy.
McDowell and Logano, both yellow cars getting bounced around. Yesterday, Kevin Harvick's son won his first ever go-kart race. Kevin said the pressure was on him today, and look at this.
Well, the pressure's really on him right now, Mike, because Mark Truex Jr. really cut down that lead that last time through 3 and 4. Let's go back and watch this restart.
No push.
And, well, this time Brad Keselowski decided to push Kevin Harvick instead of go the inside, and that gave Kevin Harvick the momentum to go to the inside and make it 3 wide. I really thought Truex Jr. and Blaney were going to get back to the outside of Harvick down the back straightaway, but it just didn't happen.
Well, Truex got loose in the middle of the corner, so couldn't mount a charge down the backstretch. And we're coming to 10 to go. Kevin Harvick has won at every track on the circuit but this one.
Well, he could not have executed a better restart from that third position to try to get that first win here at Kentucky than he did right there.
So there is the not very long list. Yes, the Roval at Charlotte. He's won on the oval, okay? But he's never won in Kentucky. 9 laps away from eclipsing his previous best finish of 5th.
Mike, he just ran the fastest lap that he has run in this race at lap 258.
5th place, Kurt Busch, Cole Custer.
Well, and we talked about Kevin Harvick, Rodney Childers trimming that race car out, showing such great speed, straightaway speed, but it needs clean air. He has that clean air now. What's he going to do with it? Because that car has been struggling further back in the field all day long.
And these two have disappeared from Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski. The two Penske teammates will be left to fight it out for 3rd. And then Kurt Busch and Cole Custer, you saw a second ago, they're 3.5 back. It's a runaway for Harvick and Truex.
Right down here, turns 3 and 4 is where Kevin's really struggling, and we saw Truex. There he goes to the inside of Kevin Harvick.
Still there, clear. He'll come back. He'll be inside into 1, tight.
I think Kevin might be able to hold on to that outside through 1 and 2, but it's 3 and 4 where he's really struggling. Oh, Truex pushing the issue, not there though.
Well, Truex wanted to get all 4 tires up into the traction compound. He got 2 up there, that helped, but now he's down on the bottom again.
Oh, caution is out.
Matt Kenseth.
Oh, looks like he got some help from Ryan Newman. He goes around, not all the way around, just gets sideways, then heads down pit road.
They used to be teammates at Roush Fenway. But that's the second spin of the day for Kenseth, the first one at lap 154.
That's going to be Cole Custer to the outside of Brad Keselowski, putting him 3 wide.
He got a push from Matt DiBenedetto.
Can he stay in it in that upper groove? Here comes Kevin Harvick back to the outside of our leader, Martin Truex Jr.
Look at the run that Custer has.
They touch. Here comes Custer.
He had a big run down the straightaway.
How did Martin Truex Jr. get to the outside of the 4-car Kevin Harvick? Here comes Blaney to the inside, 3 wide. Custer to the outside, 4 wide.
White flag waved. Next flag ends it.
They're banging off one another.
Custer to the lead.
Oh, heavy tire rub on the 4-car Kevin Harvick.
A rookie is going to win Kentucky. Can you believe it?
I never would have believed it till now, Mike.
Custer, Truex, DiBenedetto, Harvick, Blaney.
Wow.
Off the final turn. Rookie Cole Custer wins Kentucky. Can you believe it?
Incredible, incredible. That last restart, I can't wait to go back and watch this. That's going to put Cole Custer in the All-Star race for Wednesday.
Cole, a rookie. You are a winner in the Cup Series. What just happened on that restart? How good was that car?
Man, we were so good all day. Our car was so good. I mean, obviously, it wasn't the easiest track to pass on, so we're kind of stuck back there. But that was the best car I've ever driven in my life. Everybody at SHR brought an unbelievable car. I mean, Mike and Davin on the box. I mean, that was unbelievable. I mean, Gene, I can't stress enough how thankful I am for him taking a shot at me. It definitely was not the start of the year that we wanted. I mean, we were definitely way off at some places, but this was by far, unbelievable car. We put it all together, and I just can't thank everybody enough.
Cole, typically for a rookie, it takes about 3 years to get to victory lane. Describe what it's like for a rookie, especially right now. You don't even get practice in these cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, it's definitely, you got to kind of adapt as much as you can, and I think we've gotten better and better at that. But It's just unbelievable. I mean, I didn't think that we were coming here, coming to win. I mean, now we're going to be in the All-Star race. I don't even have to run the Open. So, I don't know. Hopefully I make it to Bristol.
Congratulations. Go celebrate. That team is pumped up. What a finish for Cole Custer.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.